Today we're talking about favorite places we want to reshoot.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome back to
Good to
Photography
see ya.
After Hours. All right, so we wanted to let you know that we are sponsored by PAC, the Photographers Adventure Club. You can find out more at photoadvclub.com. They do all kinds of photo walks, seminars, meetings, photo trips, all kinds of great workshops out there, so check that out on the website. So how's everyone been?
Good.
Pretty exciting. Yeah,
Pretty
it's been a busy
exciting.
week.
Cool. So we want to introduce everyone. We have Susie,
Hello.
Sprague, and
Hey.
my name is Nick. And we're going to be talking about some places that we've all been to and that we want to go back and reshoot for one reason or another. So those places are...
Well, we had to pick one, and it's hard to pick one.
Well, there was Temecula.
There,
Yuma.
Yeah. Butte, Montana.
Right.
New
But we had to
Jersey.
pick one, and I think it is hard sometimes when you do a lot of traveling and you do a lot of photography. It's hard to pick a favorite. You know, so when forced.
So your favorite that you picked was...
My favorite is Hawaii. I love Hawaii.
Okay,
and
so
I
she's
know
gonna
it's
go
not
reshoot
just
that.
it's not just one place. It's lots of places, but that's about as far as I could narrow it down.
You want Mori, Maui, Maui.
Yeah.
A little more hula for you.
I love Hawaii. I love Hawaii.
Oh, my goodness. So what did you like about it best? I mean, which island was your favorite? And what types of
I don't
things
think
did
I
you
can
like?
even pick a favorite island. I've been to several islands, and the climates are so diverse depending on where you are on the islands or at what altitude you are, or elevation in this case, altitude, pilot speak. So the things that I love most about the islands, including the diversity, is there is such rich plant life. It's so, the colors are so stark. You've got really, really saturated shades of green and just dark black volcanic rock and really deep reds in the soil in parts of the islands. It's mind-blowing how much, it's like eye candy. Islands and islands
Tropical,
full of
not
eye
typically
candy.
seen in the U.S.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from the desert for the most part. So,
So we have saguaro, you know.
yeah.
Just, you know,
And I love
looks
the
like
Sonoran
Cowboy
Desert.
Sam in pain. Just,
I love the Sonoran Desert, and it has, you know, a huge variety of things to offer. But my favorite that I love to go back to and will go back again is definitely Hawaii.
Yeah, I love the beaches in Hawaii, the waterfalls, like on the road to Hana, and all that. You know, the palm trees. You know what I was disappointed in, and we have a lot of members actually from Hawaii. We had a couple of our members add like hundreds of members of photography members into the PAC group. So it's kind of funny. We see all these pictures now, and that's probably why you put Hawaii on the list, because it's like you're seeing it all the time.
It's always high on my list.
Yeah. So, but the sunsets kind of stunk when I was there, but I've been seeing people put awesome sunsets up now, and they weren't like Phoenix or New Jersey sunsets where like the sky just lights up. It's just like the sun just goes away.
Ocean sunsets are a little different.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we're done.
Yeah, it's real quick. You don't get that long-lasting cascade of really vibrant colors across the sky. In the Southwest, we're really fortunate in that we get it all the way across the sky.
Yeah.
So east to west, you can see the sunset starting, and it just progresses along with the sun, and it can just envelop the entire sky. And you just don't get that with an ocean sunset. So you're right. There are some things where it isn't better necessarily, but there's so many things to photograph there. So even if whether you're a wildlife photographer or a travel photographer, a landscape photographer, a macro photographer, anything you photograph, is just, there are countless opportunities to shoot things in Hawaii.
It's littered
Outdoor
with
sports. There's
mongoose. There's littered with mongoose
there
everywhere.
are, yep, there are little, they look like ferrets to me.
They're mongoose, and
Yeah.
I thought someone was totally BSing me. I'm like, no, and they're like, no, they are. And then I read up on it, and it's actually they were brought there, and they survived. And there's like millions of mongoose look like ferrets running all
Same thing
around.
with chickens. So there is an abundance of chickens.
And
in
Nini.
some places.
We were taking a bicycle ride around one of the craters, and there was a sign from the national park that said, "Please don't feed the Nini."
Yeah.
What's the Nini?
Yeah, so
The
I was like,
Nene
what
is
is
a
a Nini
bird,
anyway?
and it's endangered. So you need to be careful not to hit it with your car either. So
Yeah, and don't be feeding it Doritos or chips and stuff like that. You know, because
Well, I like
Nini will
Hawaii
be,
a lot
coughing
too.
those back
yeah,
up.
I do too. And just the ability to go from water's edge in the morning and shooting the surf and the sunrise and stuff like that, and then in the afternoon be shooting at the top of a volcano. It makes me very happy.
Well, there was a group over there. I found them on the web. I wish I could remember the site, but they actually get down at the base of Kilauea in the ocean, and as the surf comes in, they shoot through the waves as the lava is coming off into the ocean and exploding, which is not a trick you want to try at home, because the water, as one might imagine, is extremely hot to start with, not to mention that it's a very dangerous place to be.
You've got your camera very close to the water in that situation too, so you're gambling a lot right there in that situation. You have a lot on the
There's a bunch
table.
of great photographers. Clark Little is one that comes out that in my head that I'm following on Instagram, and he shoots into the waves. Like, so he's in the water with a waterproof case, and he's actually catching the curl of the waves, like taking the picture at the last moment, and then basically gets pummeled by the wave. So he keeps doing it over and over again, and has to hold his breath and gets bounced around.
Some spectacular shots.
Yeah, of turtles and other things, and sharks, and then these waves. There's like his one thing that he does. So there's some pretty creative people out there.
Yeah. So
it's good.
Your choice. Sorry, I don't want to monopolize the whole, because I'll talk all day about Hawaii.
Well, my favorite place, I think, to photograph is Venice, or as they say, Venezia. Just because to me it's such a remarkable city, because you have, there are a number of cities that have canals and rivers and things like that running through them, but this is a city
canals.
that's just you do?
No, we do out here.
Really? In Phoenix?
There's canals everywhere.
Oh, that's right. That's for those of you that haven't been to Phoenix, our dominant water feature is the Phoenix Canal, which is just this irrigation ditch that people build condos on, and they call it waterfront property. But at any rate, in Venice, everything is just in the water more than anything else, and you've got these gondolas and boats, and that's the only way you can get around. And I can remember. First time I went in there on a cruise ship, and we're docked. We got the pole position at St. Mark's, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're looking out at this huge, magnificent city, and you can't hear any internal combustion engines. You've got boats. During the day, you've got some motorboats and things like that, but it was just dead quiet. Nice. And it was just the most amazing thing I've seen.
That's got to be unexpected. It's not the first thing that comes to mind when you see those photos, is that it would be so serenely quiet.
Right. It just doesn't make sense for a big city. And when you walk around, it's just like a bunch of puzzle pieces put together. So around every corner is just something different and interesting to shoot. And this is another place where you can find a good setup and just wait for the gondoliers to come through and try and get the right shot.
And like the Grand Canal and the bridge and everything there. Bridge of Sighs I shot out there.
Right.
Yeah, I'd like to go reshoot both of those places for different reasons, but the same reason, kind of. In Hawaii, I had just gotten my brand new digital camera. I had just transitioned from film to digital. So everyone does it, but you kind of forget how to shoot photography. All of a sudden you have digital. When you first get your digital, and you're like click, 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 and you're like totally forget all the rules, forget everything, and you're just like, wow, I can see it, it's awesome, and you take thousands of really bad pictures. So I'd like to go back, and they're not terrible, but I'd like to shoot it with new equipment and new knowledge and the new vision I have. And with Venice, I shot it back in 1993. and that was film. So I had my old Nikon film camera, and we were only allowed to take one. I wasn't allowed to take my camera. We were only to take my aunt's camera and share it. So I don't even know which pictures are mine and which pictures are hers or who took what, because we had to share the camera for the whole time. We were only given 1 or 2 rolls of film for each city. Right. So, and they're very high grain eyes. I think she gave us 800 ASA or something, which you kind of needed in some of the churches and stuff, and they still look really terrible. So, I'd like to reshoot both of those places because of just a different vision that I look at stuff differently now.
Well, the other great thing about shooting Venice is because of the water, you've got a lot of bridges, and the bridges make great tripods. So, I thought, well, I'm going to need my tripod because I want to shoot at night and I need something stable. But, really, you can take and you can just set it right on the lip of the bridge and bracket it, and they come out just fantastic. Yeah. Nice. So, I think you can get some
have a lot of reflection and stuff in that too, which isn't that common in building scenes and stuff. So it's really drastically different than your other tourist city type compositions, because you have so much water to help with
a lot of great
add more.
Well, the other thing that I found is I had a tilt shift lens with me, so I was able to take my camera with its L bracket and sit it on the dock, and then basically shift the lens up to kind of give it a higher perspective. But that gave me a really solid base just to hold it and then up, shoot off a couple pictures, and that worked out great. And another thing that I'd recommend going there is they have their transportation is a boat called a Vaporetto, which goes around the island and over to Murano and some of the other outer islands, and from there you can shoot back at Venice and get some really, really great pictures. And nice. And it's really worth it. It's inexpensive, $10-15. And,
well, and we were talking not too long ago about how much, and actually how little it costs to fly to Europe and to go over there for a trip. It's less than you would normally maybe assume.
Right. Flying coast to coast can be, if you're lucky, $700 or $800 sometimes. I mean, we were just talking about, from Phoenix up to Las Vegas, the tickets were what, $250, $300?
It was $268 one way, and then another $200 back.
Yeah, and
that's an hour away.
Yeah, and then if you go to Europe, I mean, for an economy class ticket, assuming you're not using mileage points or anything, I mean, you're pretty hard pressed to spend much more than $1,500 for an economy ticket. And if you look for travel deals, you can spend quite a bit less. And so, finding some good deals on hotels is sometimes challenging in the summer. But the other thing to consider is taking a cruise ship through there, and then you're paying sometimes as little as $100 to $200 a day, and then you can get off and just shoot to your heart's content. You don't have to worry about the hotels. So
you don't have to pack and unpack. And
right. Yeah.
Like when I went there, we took trains the whole time. So we were there for. I was not just in Venice. I was all over Italy from the top to the bottom, and we were there for I think a month. So I'd gone in with my grandparents, and we went all around from way down towards Sicily all the way up to Venice area and up high, Rome, all that, Florence. Yeah. It was a pretty good trip, but it was all trains.
Yeah.
Which is cool. If you haven't traveled by trains, it's fun. You just watch stuff go by. You don't have to drive. You don't have to worry about traffic or accidents or any of that. You just kind of cruise and watch. It's like a movie. Everything's just cruising past you.
Did you do a lot of street portraiture in Venice?
Not too much, because there's a lot of
more architectural
tourists, and so it was a little bit more difficult. Occasionally, you'd see people with costumes, and you could shoot them, but that probably wasn't best.
She does that with clowns. She's like, "All right, come here. You're a clown. Get up, step back."
Yeah. Well, so no,
do the chest. Boom.
What place would you go back to if you could just take off tomorrow and go?
One of the places that I want to go back to for the same reason as Italy, having a film camera, is Yellowstone. Just because it's just kind of like Hawaii. Everything's so dynamic. It's just about ready to blow up, and everything's steaming and smoking and just trippy. Everything's just totally cool. You go wake up in the morning and there's steam coming off all the water because it's warm, and there's geysers blowing up, and bison, it's just kind of like a acid trip.
Yeah.
with animals everywhere.
Right?
It's nature on steroids.
And in the spring, all the baby animals.
Yeah, so I want to go back there and just reshoot it. I shot that in, I think it was 2007, maybe 97 or 2007. I don't even remember, but it was all my Nikon film camera, and I did better with those pictures. But again, I only had it was a cross country trip from New Jersey to San Francisco to Tijuana back to New Jersey, and we had to be back for a concert. I think we left on a Tom Petty concert at PNC Arts Center in New Jersey, and then we went across country and we had to be back for the Pink Floyd concert. It was very important, so we need to get back for that. So I had tickets, and I'm like, we're not missing Roger Waters. So we made it back, but we didn't see a whole lot of the States on the way back. It was like, screw it, we'll go faster. But
what do you think was the most iconic picture of Yellowstone? If you had to pick maybe one setting, what would you shoot?
I like the Grand Prismatic Spring, the really big one. It's
the one
really,
that somebody flew a quadcopter into.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing that.
The quadcopter.
No, but there's a place you can get to not so easily and off the beaten track, probably not supposed to, but to get a higher vantage point, and I'd like to go back and shoot that. I've seen people take helicopters over it and shoot from above too. So I'd like to, because just the regular shot's not so great. You want the postcard shot of being up on the mountain shooting down on it. So and there's just things I would do differently. I'd shoot a lot, wake up earlier and stuff, and so
not sleep at all the whole time. Star shots at night and sunrise shots in the morning.
Nature doesn't happen at noon.
Exactly. Yeah.
So cool. Well, some places to go check out, and please comment below and tell us what your favorite place that you'd want to reshoot is. We've all traveled different places, and whether it's local or far away, it doesn't have to be exotic like Venice or Hawaii or Yellowstone. Tell us where you live and where you want to go back and shoot. Yeah. And subscribe below as well. Somewhere down there.
And if attacked by clowns, go for the juggler.
Yeah, that's
3 shots to the chest.
That's what they say.
We're afraid of clowns. Cheers.
Cheers.